Story 1. Am I the asshole for torpedoing a dude's entire career because he was a bully at work? Original post. So, to preface, I know I'm something of a Nepo baby, but it is what it is. My mom is incredibly successful in a very niche, but very lucrative, field of business. This allowed my dad to be a SHD and for me and my siblings to get a good education. When I graduated from college, I decided to go into the same field as my mom. While I love her and our relationship is good, I very much did not want to only be viewed as her kid or receive special treatment due to how well-regarded she is. So, I use my dad's surname and generally keep who my mom is to myself. I also avoided coming to work for her. In my field and country, it's generally accepted that people are hired for a trial period, at the end of which either the employee or employer can cut ties with no fines or compensation required. So anyway, I went to work at one company. Again, I'll remind you, very niche market, very few employment opportunities. I went in for my trial period, and everyone seemed pretty happy with me. I put out some fires, and one superior describes me as a workhorse because I'm first to the office, last out the door. It goes pretty well, except for one colleague in my team. This dude is a huge jerk. I'm a bit of a people pleaser and try to be on good terms with everyone, but jerk will have none of it. Dude is incredibly rude. He keeps being very confrontational. Like, if a colleague, not just me, was getting any sort of acknowledgement, jerk would belittle them and their accomplishment. If someone was saying they had a rough time with something, jerk would pop up, going, "Oh yeah, I did that a while back." It was super easy. Whenever someone tried talking about future plans with me, jerk would go, "Oh yeah, we'll see about that." He also apparently says some very unkind things about my appearance and masculinity, but those, at least, he had the decency to say behind my back, I suppose, and I only learned about them later. Like, dude was incredibly mean for apparently no reason except trying to make himself look better by making everyone else look worse. This one thing wasn't true to me specifically because I'm male, but his meanness seemed to apply especially to women. A few comments were about how working in this field isn't for moms, and they should be raising kids or whatever, and some other very bad stuff, but management seemed pretty content keeping him around because apparently he was a pretty good worker. And they liked that he was ambitious. Fine. My trial period ends. I am offered a permanent position, but decide this is not the place for me as I don't love being anybody's workhorse and have very little interest in sticking around in jerk's vicinity. I respectfully inform them I will not be sticking around and go find work elsewhere. On my last day, I come to say goodbye. Management says they're sorry to see me go. Colleagues wish me well and say they're going to miss me. Jerk goes, "Huh. Told you OP wasn't going to stick around. Good riddance. Maybe this field isn't for you either," very loudly. I leave. I'm not very confrontational, and I don't have to deal with him anymore anyway, so I just go. Some time goes by, and I'm now employed elsewhere. I'm happy and doing well. I love my work and my colleagues. I've been promoted, and I don't really think about jerk anymore, except apparently there's a relative influx of applicants from jerk's company, relative because, again, very niche market. Whatever. My boss knows I did a trial period over there, so whenever an applicant comes up, he asks me about my experience with them. There are very few people I dislike, so when asked, I usually give my honest opinion, which is usually very positive. But guess whose application we suddenly receive? It's jerk's. My boss asks for my opinion, and I say, "Look, I have personal feelings about this person, and I can't be objective." Boss, knowing just how positive I usually am about basically everyone, asks me what's up, and eventually I tell him. I tell him everything. Jerk obviously doesn't get hired. I assume that's the end of that. A few days later, we had a family dinner. My mom goes, "Wait, you had a trial period at that company, right? Do you know jerk?" Well, my mom knew there was a person I really didn't get along with at the company and the shitty things they did. I tell her it was him. Obviously, she ain't going to hire him either, especially given his views on women. So, my company ends up hiring one of jerk's company's former workers. Me and her are on great terms, and this is how I discovered what happened there. Jerk got promoted, and that made a bunch of people want to leave. This caused management to look into why and why strong applicants were leaving after their trial period was over. Turned out it was Jerk. Someone had a talk with him, and from what I gather, he was not receptive to criticism. He was let go. This is when he applied to the company I work for and to my mom's. From what I understand, he no longer works in our field. There are, as I mentioned, not many employers around, but unfortunately, I have no idea what he does. We'll update if I find out. Update. So it's been a minute since my original post. Things kind of blew up, and that caused me to want to give a small update and clear some stuff up. So first, let me stress that my field is very niche with few employment opportunities. It is also, as some of you suggested, niche. Okay, seriously now. As some of you actually guessed, the field is medicine in a small county. This means that there aren't many spots on the residency program, but also a pretty constant influx of students and interns. The field is pretty lucrative, shitty hours, yes, but great money and a lot of prestige. Some asked about an exit interview at the end of the trial. Had one of those. Said I didn't really vibe with the culture and certain aspects of the way they did things. Didn't name Jerk. As a young, relatively speaking, specialist in my field in a not very large department, I get to weigh in on potential colleagues. So, if I say someone sucks, that bears some weight, and if a department starts having issues attracting the best candidates because its chief resident is a jerk, that's going to be an issue. So, with that out of the way, let's get to the update. A lot of you are very curious as to what had actually happened to him. So, I reached out to some friends. He's still a doctor, obviously, but he just went into another specialty, which, given how long he worked to become chief resident, is telling. He's probably okay. The reason for the update, it turns out I know his wife. I like his wife. She was a year ahead of me in med school. Got curious, so I texted her. Turns out she's not actually his wife anymore. She's his ex. They got divorced. Had coffee with her. Still a lovely woman. She's not on Reddit, but apparently this thing got out at some point and reached her. Well, I told her about this and she couldn't believe it was me, except she could because she suspected it was me because I apparently sound like an asshole when I express myself in writing, which she remembers from my days at the student council equivalent and my many, many emails. So, okay, still, I had a good time. We're getting coffee again on Sunday. Anyway, I didn't have anything to do with his firing, but after he was let go, presumably quite unamiably, he decided to move abroad after failing to get into another department here. This didn't come to fruition, but it did cause a rift in their marriage, which then led to divorce. So maybe I kind of torpedoed his marriage too. And yeah, that's about it for the update. We'll let you know if I get beaten up in a parking lot though, as some of you suggested I might. Now to the next story. Story 2. Story 2. Am I the asshole for getting upset and crying when my boyfriend let his best friend's wife alter the dish I prepared for dinner? Original post. Throwaway account. My boyfriend, 28M, and I, 22F, met at work 2 years ago. Technically, I was working part-time during undergrad, and he was a customer, but after a couple of months, we started going out. I really love this man, and nothing has happened on the scale before, so I'm very confused about it. My BF has a very tight group of friends. I am well acquainted with them and their girlfriends. One of them, Dave, is married to Ellie, fake names. Ellie is an excellent cook and often hosts dinners, and everyone brings a dessert to those dinners. I am the youngest in the group, so most times they brush off my requests for contributing or bringing in a dessert. However, the last time I asked Dave and Ellie if they wanted anything extra like wine or some sweet dish for dinner, they said I could bring one of those sweet dishes I make for my boyfriend. I'm Indian, and even though I can't cook as well as my mom, and I'm well in a different country for studies, I called my mom up and had her teach me properly how to make a specific Bengali sweet, which is my favorite. I had my friends taste it, and they said it was great. My boyfriend ate some and said it was excellent. Except last night, I greeted Ellie and kept the dish in the kitchen. When the food was brought out and my boyfriend told everyone I made it, I saw that someone had added cinnamon powder to the sweet. You never have the sweet with cinnamon powder. The dessert tasted like cinnamon, and I felt horrible. Though everyone said, "Thank you," and "It was good," I think my face gave it away, and my boyfriend took me aside and said that Ellie had told him that my sweet looked too white, and thought some cinnamon might bring some color into it. I don't know. I just felt awful, and I started to tear up. My boyfriend then defended Ellie and said that his friends already think I'm a child and not make a big deal of this, and we will talk about it. I told him, Ellie asked him first, couldn't he have told her not to add cinnamon to the sweet? He told me he didn't think it was a big deal and asked me to drop the topic. On the way home, I didn't text him good night, and this morning, he said he was sorry and said my crying made him feel like an awful person. I don't know now. I think I overreacted. Some of O's comments to a now-deleted comment. Thank you BDW, it was Rosa. I even had my mom ask our local sweet shop what quantity they used for the sizes of Rosa. I had managed the sweet to taste a lot like the sweet shop, so that's why I was so upset. If it tasted bad, I wouldn't have cried. Commenter: actually, you should have asked right at the table why there is cinnamon added to your dessert. Not in a shout/complain way to make a scene, but to make it clear your dessert was spoiled and your contribution was pretty much sabotaged. Don't cover other people's fuck-ups. It's on them, not you. OP downvoted. I didn't want to embarrass Ellie or my BF, plus I didn't know who added the cinnamon during dinner, and I was too upset to even talk. Commenter: so your boyfriend doesn't defend you, and apparently all his friends think you're a child, which he also doesn't defend you against. He's also got 6 years on you. Dude's nearing 30. Does your boyfriend often treat you like a child? Does your boyfriend usually defend his friends when they do something like this? Does your boyfriend defend you at all? He should feel like an awful person. He is an awful boyfriend. OP: I usually just hang around my boyfriend's friends during these dinners. I admit I feel a little left out because they all have been friends for so long, and I'm from a different culture, but they have never said any outright offensive thing to me. My boyfriend doesn't treat me like a child. He mentioned before that due to my age, his friends see me like a much younger sister, so I guess that's why he said it. I don't know. I'm kind of rethinking his words. Commenter: you should really have a round with your BF. In Bengal, we don't have GFs or housewives. We have queens of the house. He needs to understand the Bengal household hierarchy. OP: oh, there is no way am I going to tell this to my ma. She already has reservations about my BF due to the age gap and the fact that he is not Bengali, but thank you. Your comment cracked me up. A lighter comment: I know I was horrified, and I had to eat it and act like nothing happened at the dinner table to not cause a scene. Traumatized by cinnamon Rosa was not on my bingo card this year. Top comment: Vegetable Business 8977. BF saying, everyone thinks you're a child, and him saying, we'll talk about this later, is him telling you he thinks you're a child. Girl, tell him you're tired of hanging out with judgmental old farts, and you're going to go find people younger and cooler to be with. Please don't think this guy hung the moon. Mini update. Same post update. Ellie saw this post. My boyfriend texted me to see if it was me. I said yes. He said we needed to talk. For safety purposes, my best friend will be here. I don't know. I never expected my post to blow up. Update post. He said he needed space from the relationship. I think with the way this post blew up and what happened because of a post, I should clear up some things. I never asked if I should leave my boyfriend for this. I asked if this was an overreaction, my crying, but having thousands of people tell me this was racially charged, Ellie wanted power, my BF is shitty, etc., my brain went haywire. BF called yesterday, and when I got there to his house with my best friend, Dave and Ellie were there. Ellie was crying, and Dave looked really pissed at me. My BF told me to sit down, and Dave started with how I could make a post that most of the people in the dinner party would recognize and know and could shame Ellie and my BF. My BF was silent and wouldn't even look at me and was only shaking his head. It felt like I was a kid being scolded by my parents with my elder sibling disappointed in my actions. That is what I felt, and it looked like. I admit it was very spineless of me, but Dave went on for like a minute, and I was just looking at my BF waiting for him to defend me. I asked Ellie, why would she alter my dish after telling me to bring an Indian dish? She said she thought Indian food would be brown. This woman has more Indian friends than me, and she thinks Indian food is brown? She grew up in the UK FFS. And I felt so defeated. The comments, my friends, and people around me telling me his friends came first to him, not me. He said he didn't think the sweet was a big deal. I told him I would never let my friend alter something he spent 3 days learning, getting people to taste it, and got his mom involved in. He saw I put a lot of effort into it, so why let her alter it? Why couldn't he ask me? Ellie started to cry and say that she wasn't being racist and she wouldn't know that I put effort into it, and now she couldn't host dinners again. I said I used fake names, so why does it matter unless she and Dave went around telling people? BF told me he didn't expect this from me. My best friend piped up that he expected that my BF would have an effing spine. So, I guess they were both disappointed. My now ex, BF told me in front of Dave and Ellie that he needs some space. I told him to get lost. I don't know what my best friend said to him after that, considering I left my BF's flat. I kind of tripped in the metro station, so now I'm crying on my best friend's couch with an ice pack while his BF keeps giving me peach schnapps, and my relationship has toppled over. I wouldn't have stormed out had he looked at me once. He just looked 100% on Dave and Ellie's side and acted like I was the one with the problem when she caused me hurt. If his friends come first when they cause me hurt, where would I have been if I decided to marry this man? My friends are good to me and are acting like I'm some fragile glass. I even heard my best friend and his brother whispering loudly from the kitchen, and his elder brother wanting to threaten him via Insta DMs. I hate that this has come to this, considering I have always been the mom friend to my friend group. I'm drunk while writing this, so have some grace in the comments. Also, if you'll be an incel like those people in my DMs telling me I'll never keep a man if I'm this dramatic, please go away. I just thought I needed to update, that's it. Thanks guys. Edit. Guys, this is the first time I've faced what y'all have been calling racism. TBH, I didn't see Ellie putting cinnamon into my rosella as racism. I was just hurt that my days of hard work were ruined, that's it. I understand I need to work on my self-esteem and not let people walk over me. My best friend's elder brother, he's a doctor, and is super pissed at my ex because he didn't know what happened, booked an appointment with a therapist he knows as he thinks I need mental help to not normalize aggressive behavior. I'm sorry for ranting on Reddit, but I guess that's where I am. Both my best friend and I will be going. He had been there for some time before, and the situation is tense at home because Dada, Bestie's brother, didn't know what was happening and tore my friends a new one for not protesting when Dave said to me. I still haven't told him it was over a Reddit post and that I'm writing here. I feel awful, and I don't know how to tell my mom. She was right. I wish I never went out with him. One of my ex's friends from the dinner party asked me if I really left my ex over a dessert, so I guess that's what he told people. It hurts. I know it shouldn't, but it hurts. I think it is partially my fault. I shouldn't have let myself be treated like this. There were signs, and I ignored them, and now I think I'll never have another relationship because it feels like a horrible, anxious feeling. Some of those comments. Commenter, the older brother who is a doctor and is taking the time to make sure that your mental health is okay sounds like he cares more about you than Dave or anyone at the dinner party. Opie, he does. Never doubted that. He is also very mad at me for drinking too much and at his brother for hiding the fact that my ex was an idiot. I actually am grateful to him and my best friend for being a very strong support system. Commenter, completely unrelated thing, by the way, brown ragas exist in India too. They're not as sweet as the white kind, so I prefer the white ones. Opie, I was thinking of making G-rosas. They are brown and tastier in my opinion. I think maybe if I had made them, this whole mess wouldn't have happened. Commenter, I'm really curious what this dessert is that takes 3 days to make. Drop a link to a recipe. Opie, it does not take 3 days to make. I practiced 3-4 times, and because I'm not a professional sweet maker, it took me almost 6 hours all 3 days to properly make the can, or the correct amount of cardamom to put into the milk for a little cardamom taste. It takes a lot of time, and you can find a lot of YouTube videos on rosas. Commenter, I say date Dada, or the best friend. Dada knows how to treat a woman, and he seemed royally pissed at what happened to her, going as far as to get her therapy. I've had best friends and their family as mine before, and I know they've never gone that far to help me. Is it just me, or is it a little more than family to get so angry on her behalf and try to help her mental health? OOP, my best friend is gay and is very much in love with his BF. That's the reason he was in therapy for some time. He has faced homophobia in our home country and needed counseling, and that's why his brother is overprotective of both of us where OOP is from. For those curious, I'm from West Bengal, but not Kolkata, though I have spent a couple of years of my childhood there too. To a different commenter, I am from a district that shares a border with Bangladesh, and both sets of my grandparents were from there. New update post. I'm again grateful for the barrage of supportive messages and chiding I've received from the internet after the cinnamon fiasco and my post causing a breakup. I am updating because I felt like I should just update about recent events, and honestly, after just more than 2 weeks, I have started to feel good about myself, even though I feel like whenever I remember my ex, I really hope I can put this whole thing to rest, and I don't have to update again for my sanity. Firstly, my ex called a few times last week. I had blocked him earlier, literally like 2 days after breaking up, and whenever he called my friends, they wouldn't pick up either. I wanted to handle this matter gracefully, and unlike what some people commented, no, I did not want my issues all over the internet and did not understand what was happening. I just wanted some advice on how to deal with my emotions and didn't want my friends to be mad at my then BF. Thankfully, the trash took itself out. I still don't know if Ellie was racially motivated or if she just hated me. I don't even care now. I don't want a man who makes his friends scold me and humiliate me. I know I deserve to be at least somebody's first choice. Ex came to my best friend's flat, I don't live there, and from what I heard from my best boyfriend, he said he was very sorry, and he now felt like I didn't deserve to be treated like that. He had thought when he broke up with me that I was overreacting, and it was just a small thing I made a big deal out of, but then a few of his friends explained to Ellie that it definitely was a horrible thing to do and told my ex he was a BF. Huh. Who knew he had nice friends too? Ex didn't say anything more after that. He was just sorry, and he said he doesn't want more hurt between us. I have decided to not contact him. I'm just done. A lecture from my mother on dating idiot men and crying every night for over a week has made me lethargic, and on top, I am fending off Dada, bestie's elder brother, insisting that I move in with them for some time because I'm not eating well. My dad said it's okay if I do. My family trusts my bestie and his family a lot. Needless to say, my work and studies are suffering. I haven't heard from Ellie or Dave, and I don't intend to. The person who asked me if I left my ex over a dessert, I told her what happened, and she was appalled. I don't know what she told my ex for him to apologize. Honestly, I'm so done with that group. I went to one therapy session, and I didn't feel good. I know I have to keep going for it to actually help me, but I can't help feeling so down. I have never been so emotionally low in my life, and I am officially not dating for the foreseeable future. I am planning a trip with friends after my final semester of my master's, and I really hope I don't bring the mood down for my friends who have been so supportive and have always made me feel I have family even though I'm away from home. I don't know what I would have done without having my best friend and his boyfriend who keep telling me to drink the pain away, and Dada keeps on talking about the negative effects of becoming an alcoholic. Overall, I'm closing this chapter, and I don't think I'll need to update again. I'm not ever talking again to Dave and Ellie or my ex, so I don't expect any more drama. I just want to settle down to work and graduate properly. OOP clarifies, oh my god, I have not started drinking, guys. I rarely drink and just cry. The alcohol thing was a joke. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to be updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.